Hey everyone, I'm Jim and welcome back to my movie obsession, and this time I'm obsessing over the 2008 superhero crime drama thriller movie. It has it all. It's Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. 2005 saw the release of Christopher Nolan's drastic reinvention of the Batman series, Batman Begins. The film received a fantastic reception and managed to restore the movie-going public's faith in Batman movies after Batman and Robin damn near ended the Batman universe. Well, not only that, the superhero universe too, and possibly the whole universe.
Certainly hope not.
On July 31st, 2006, Warner Bros. Officially announced production for the sequel to Batman Begins, titled The Dark Knight. Nolan's take went on to become possibly more beloved than any take on Batman ever, since it was so spectacular. In fact, this movie and Batman Begins are viewed not only as two of the greatest superhero movies ever made, but by many as some of the greatest movies ever made, full stop. After a lot of research, Nolan's brother and co-writer Jonathan suggested the Joker's first two appearances, published in the first issue of Batman 1940, as the crucial influences on this new take. Christopher Nolan had Jonathan watch Fritz Lang's 1933 crime film The Testament of Dr. Mabuse prior to writing the Joker, with the Joker resembling Mabuse's characteristics. Nolan referred to that film as essential research for anyone attempting to write a supervillain. Jerry Robinson, one of the Joker's co-creators, was consulted on the character's portrayal too. Nolan decided to avoid divulging an in-depth origin story for the character, and told MTV News the Joker we meet in The Dark Knight is fully formed. He's an absolute. There are no shades of grey to him, maybe shades of purple. He's unbelievably dark. He bursts in just as he did in the comics. For the first time in feature filmmaking, IMAX cameras were utilised for this movie. For its release in IMAX theatres, Nolan shot 4 major sequences in that format, including the Joker's opening bank robbery and the car chase midway through the film, which marked the first time that a feature film had been partially shot in the format. The use of IMAX cameras provided many new challenges for the filmmakers. The cameras were much larger and heavier than standard ones, and produced noise which made recording dialogue very difficult. In addition, the cameras had short film loads ranging from 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and the cost of the film stock was much greater than standard 35mm. Nevertheless, Nolan said he wished that it were possible to shoot the entire film in IMAX. If you could take an IMAX camera to Mount Everest or outer space, you could use it in a feature movie, he said. In addition, Nolan chose to edit some of the IMAX sequences using the original camera negative, which by eliminating generation loss, raised the film resolution of those sequences up to 18,000 lines. Now, I love Christopher Nolan, we all do. We all love him, he's great, but don't you think sometimes he's just a little too good, and it's a little bit annoying? I feel like Christopher Nolan was one of those kids at school who always had to be better than you. Like, you go up to him and go, I've got a yo-yo, and he'd go, well, I've got a pro-yo. And you go, well, I've got Mew on Pokemon cards. Well, I've got Mew too. I've got a scooter. Well, I've got a bike. Oh, fuck off, Chris. You always got to be better, ain't you? And then I feel like he grew up and he just started doing the same thing to filmmakers. I reckon filmmakers were sitting there in 2008 watching Dark Knight going, oh, for fuck's sake, Chris. While scouting for shooting locations in October 2006, location manager Robin Higgs visited Liverpool, England, concentrating mainly along the city's waterfront. Other candidates included Yorkshire, Glasgow and parts of London. In August 2006, one of the film's producers, Charles Roven, stated that its principal photography would begin in March 2007, but filming was actually pushed back to April. For the film's prologue involving the Joker, the crew shot in Chicago from April 18, 2007 to April 24, 2007. They returned to shoot from June 9, 2007 to early September. Filming also took place at Pinewood Studios in London and even Hong Kong. This film went everywhere. Noticeably, unlike Batman Begins, less CGI was used to disguise Chicago. Many recognisable locations were used in the film, like the Sears Tower, the Navy Pier, the James R. Thompson Centre, Trump International Hotel, and Hotel 71. So basically Gotham was now Chicago. Just was. This is Gotham in the comics. This is Nolan's Gotham. Chicago. Before Heath Ledger was confirmed for the role of the Joker in July 2006, Paul Bettany, Lacey Holm, Adrian Bodie, Steve Carell and Robin Williams publicly expressed interest in the part. However, Nolan had wanted to work with Ledger on a number of projects in the past, and he had actually unsuccessfully approached Ledger for the role of Batman in Batman Begins. When Ledger saw Batman Begins, he had realised a way to make the character work that was consistent with the film's tone. He described his Joker as a psychopathic, mass-murdering, schizophrenic clown with zero empathy. In the film, the Joker has a Glasgow smile, and his trademark chalk white skin and red lips are makeup rather than the result of chemical bleaching, as in the traditional portrayal of the character. Throughout the film, the Joker states his desire to upset social order through crime, and comes to define himself by his conflict with Batman. To prepare for the role, Ledger lived alone in a hotel for a month, formulating the character's posture, voice and personality, and he also kept a diary in which he recorded the Joker's thoughts and feelings. I wonder what that diary read like. I have a suspicion it was something like this.
4 o'clock, wallow in self-pity. 4:30, stare into the abyss. 5 o'clock, solve world hunger. Tell no one. 5:30, jazzercise. 6:30, dinner with me. I can't cancel that again. 7 o'clock, wrestle with my self-loathing. I'm booked.
While he initially found it difficult, Ledger eventually generated a voice that was unlike Jack Nicholson's character in the 1989 Batman film. He was also given Batman the Killing Joke and Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth to read, which he apparently tried to read and eventually put down.
What? Bring the police!
Heath Ledger was allowed to shoot and mostly direct the videos the Joker sends out as warnings. Each take Ledger made was different from the last, and Nolan was impressed enough with his first video shoot that he chose to not be present when Ledger shot the video with a kidnapped reporter. On January 22, 2008, after he had completed filming The Dark Knight, Ledger died of an accidental prescription drug overdose, leading to intense press attention and memorial tributes. Rumours abounded that playing the insane role had taken its toll on Ledger's mental state, causing him to become depressed and take a wrong combination of drugs as a result. However, his family has since put such rumours to rest by stating that he was far from depressed and he had a lot of fun playing the role. Heath Ledger did suffer from insomnia throughout his life and would often take sleeping pills together with other prescription drugs. Unfortunately, the mix he took on that night proved to be a fatal combination. All of Ledger's scenes appear as he completed them in the filming, and in editing the film, Nolan added no digital effects to alter Joker's actual performance posthumously. Nolan has dedicated the film in part to Heath Ledger's memory. The Dark Knight was released on July 16, 2008 in Australia, on July 18, 2008 in North America, and on July 25, 2008 in the United Kingdom. Dark Knight appeared on more critics' top 10 lists than any other film of 2008 with the exception of Wall-E. And more critics named The Dark Knight the best film of 2008 than any other film released that year. With over $1 billion in revenue worldwide, it became the highest grossing film of 2008 and is the 32nd highest grossing film of all time, unadjusted for inflation. The film received 8 Academy Award nominations. It won the award for Best Sound Editing, and Ledger was posthumously awarded Best Supporting Actor. The Dark Knight tells the story of Batman, played by Christian Bale, who's been cleaning up Gotham City for nearly a year after the events of Batman Begins, in conjunction with Commissioner Gordon, played by Gary Oldman. A new District Attorney, Harvey Dent, played by Aaron Eckhart, has risen to prominence, with a strong desire to restore the public's faith in Gotham City. Meanwhile, as Batman tries to clear up what's left of the mob, a new villain arrives on the scene, the mysterious and extremely dangerous clown prince of crime, known only as the Joker, played by Heath Ledger. Batman and Harvey Dent engage in war with this out-of-control anarchist who longs to show Gotham City and Batman that the only sensible way to live is without rules. Quite simply put, The Dark Knight is spectacular. From the opening sequence, you know you were dealing with filmmaking at its finest. The first scene is stunning and sets your expectations for the rest of the movie, that showcase Nolan's incredible direction that has become kind of iconic in today's day and age. It's a well-edited, suspenseful sequence, shot with a lot of spectacle and glamour. The scene is also the first time we meet the Joker. I love the fact that everyone is wearing the same mask, so the film builds up the Joker's reveal. We don't know which one he is, and we hear the thugs talking about him, which builds up the anticipation of meeting him. The film has a great sense of majesty. I feel like it stands up amongst some of the most iconic films of the past. Not many movies of today can stand tall against some of the greats of the past, but I feel The Dark Knight can. With The Dark Knight and of course the previous film Batman Begins, Nolan managed to completely reinvent the entire superhero genre and a depiction of Batman on screen. Now we are dealing with a realistic world, but one that is perfectly blended with the best parts of the Batman comics. With the action scenes in the film, Nolan has your heart in your mouth as you feel each and every explosion and crash, with the car chase in the middle of the movie being one of the most exhilarating sequences I've ever seen on film. There's such intensity to this scene, and Nolan's direction is pretty much flawless. He knows how to elevate a scene to iconic status and make it jump out of the screen and grab you. Combining this epic action with Hans Zimmer's sensational score, and you have a truly unforgettable experience. The Dark Knight has a fantastic script and amazing themes, specifically a discussion about true good and evil and morality. This is a film about empathy and questioning whether you could ever get to the point where believing in good was fruitless. Amazingly enough, the film manages to make you sometimes question whether the Joker's insane philosophy is actually more rational than clinging to this idea of giddy euphoria that never seems to arrive for us. Batman and Harvey are such strong good guys in the film, so it really is the perfect battle of good and evil. Multiple times Batman and Harvey Dent, against their own interests, stand up for good. The Joker is obsessed with proving that this is a ludicrous way to live, that deep down no one believes in this fantasy of good, and that every human being is essentially the same, holding back their truly selfish and evil desires. We will talk about Harvey Dent later, but for now I'll say Aaron Eckhart crafts such a likeable character that whenever you start to think the Joker may perhaps have some sort of a point in a perverse sort of way, Harvey's good heart once again shines through and restores your faith. The Joker has perfect enemies to play off in this film. He literally is the polar opposite of Dent and Batman. Speaking of the Joker, what more can be said about Heath Ledger's towering performance? I've heard people over the years say his turn as the Joker is overrated, but for me I really don't see that. Just as the filmmaking stands up with some of the best films of the past, Ledger's performance as the Joker stands up not only with Jack Nicholson's iconic turn, but I actually think in a lot of areas it surpasses it.
I like him already.
Don't get me wrong, I love Jack's take, but Ledger's was such a bold and inventive performance. It's hard to pin down the Joker in the film. He's a mood ring of emotions, very much like the Joker of the comics. You can never quite place him, whereas with Nicholson's you knew what you were dealing with really. With Ledger there is no telling what he's going to do next or what mood he's going to be in. Every time he appears on screen he introduces something different to the performance. It's a truly fascinating portrayal. There are so many words to describe his performance. Intense, unpredictable, odd, scary, funny. This Joker has everything to him and remains a mystery for the entire film. I suppose you could apply this criticism to any villain in any superhero film, but the only issue I have with the Joker is he somehow takes over the city simply by pissing about. Like, he manages to convert a bunch of mobsters into working for him. How? He's the Joker. He kills his friends, he treats them like shit, he barely even pays them. I mean, why would anybody join the Joker?
Two-bit whack job, wears a cheap purple suit and makeup. He's not the problem, he's a nobody.
Exactly, he's a nobody, yet somehow he nicks all your men. You playing at, mate? Also don't understand how the Joker and a bunch of random donuts managed to subdue and trick a room full of the most dangerous mobsters in Gotham. I mean, surely once the Joker had done this, he'd be the target of every other mobster in the city, but somehow he remains untouchable. And that's one of my issues with the Joker, he's literally untouchable. And then later on he manages to make one of his enemies' entire team turn against him. What is the draw of working for the Joker? He's an arsehole, he offers nothing, he desires nothing, and somehow every mobster in Gotham wants to be his mate. What's going on? What's wrong with these melts?
What happened? Your balls drop off?
My favourite Joker scene in the entire film is the short confrontation between the Joker and Rachel. It is superb. Oh, you already know it's going to be a great moment by the way the Joker introduces himself to her. It's just so skin crawling.
Hello, beautiful.
Yeah, and you're ugly.
The way it is shot makes it feel like these two are alone, even though it's a room full of people. It feels so claustrophobic and intense, as if Joker and Rachel are the only two people in the universe. I love the spinning camera, it just adds to the rapid heartbeat you already have and disorientates you. You are truly hooked and you have no idea what's going to happen next. The dialogue is sensational too. This is one of the many times Joker relays a different story about how he got his scars. This characteristic is very accurate to the Joker of the comics and it makes him so mysterious, strange and creepy. You are left wondering whether he even knows the real true story, or if he's just messing with everyone, or if he's just completely insane and doesn't know himself. As for Batman himself, well, to be perfectly honest, I do prefer Christian Bale's first performance as the Caped Crusader in Batman Begins. I loved him as Batman in that film. I loved his suit, I loved his voice, I loved how he was shot. Pretty much loved everything about that performance. In Begins, Bruce Wayne had a sense of youthful energy and he was learning as the film went on, and as Batman he was very intimidating and unhinged but very good-hearted, and especially believable as the Batman of the comics. In The Dark Knight he's a little less effective. Yes, it's been talked about for years and years, but this really is ridiculous. I mean, I know I sound like a broken record, but at least I don't sound like Christian Bale's voice. I'd rather he sounded like a fucking broken record than how he sounds. His voice in the film is absolute poo. And to those who say it was the same in Batman Begins, it really wasn't. I think his voice is very good in that film. He changes it, sure. It's got a growl, but it's nothing compared to this. I mean, listen to him in Batman Begins, he sounds awesome. It's just got just enough growl, just enough change, he really nails it.
Falcone sent them to kill you.
Why?
You rattled his cage.
And then listen to him in The Dark Knight.
This city just showed you that it's full of people ready to believe in good.
What the hell did you just say?
His suit is also a lot worse in this film. According to Christopher Nolan, Bruce Wayne's reasons for needing a new Batsuit were in fact the real reasons why Nolan wanted the Batsuit to be redesigned, so he could be faster and more agile. Yeah, shame it looks like arse though, Chris. Batman Begins, I love the costume. In this one, his suit just looks a bit off. It looks awkward, the shape of the cowl, the style of the armour, everything rubs me the wrong way. Despite it all though, Bale fights through his limitations and you still feel a strong sense of belief in Batman as a character, and you have a huge admiration for his ideas and morals. You want Batman to succeed, even if he sounds like a knob. And don't get me wrong, Bale is still good, the way he is written and what he does in the film makes up for the flaws. I just feel this movie could have been his iconic turn as the Dark Knight, but instead his performance is inferior when compared to what he did before. Sorry, Christian.
No, don't just be sorry. Think for one fucking second. The fuck are you doing?
Aaron Eckhart is fabulous as Harvey Dent. Matt Damon was in fact offered the part, but he had to turn it down because of a schedule conflict with Invictus, and so the role instead went to Eckhart, who said he modelled his performance on John F. Kennedy's younger brother Robert, who served as a US Senator from 1965 to 1968 before he was assassinated, just like his iconic brother. Everyone likes to give Oscar nods to Heath Ledger, and rightfully so, but I actually think Eckhart deserved to be considered too. As Harvey Dent, he is possibly one of the most likeable characters in movie history. As soon as this guy opens his mouth, you instantly like him. He's pure and wholesome, but not in a forced or over the top way. You genuinely feel like he truly believes in hope and morals. So many politicians these days you can see right through, whereas this guy, you can see he's in it for the right reasons. And Aaron Eckhart offers such a gentle but at the same time tough performance. He is perfect in the role. It's his effectiveness as Harvey that makes his fall into the character of Two-Face even more of a blow. Now, I like Star Wars Episode 3, but damn, Anakin's fall from grace should have been more like this. You are devastated when you see what Harvey becomes. How a once good and moral man has turned into a bitter, vengeful and evil monster. We also sympathise with him because of course a tragedy sends him over the edge when the Joker's plan spells the end for his girlfriend Rachel, played by Maggie Gyllenhaal. The only thing I don't understand about Two-Face in this film is, he lets the Joker off. Yeah, the guy who is solely responsible for the death of your girlfriend lets him off. I mean, they do have a fascinating scene in the hospital where Harvey realises Joker is simply a wild dog, as he calls him, and it is everyone else's fault he is off his lead. But when you think about it, no it isn't. That makes no sense. Like, why didn't he go after the Joker? Who cares if he's off his rocker? Who cares if he doesn't have morals? He still killed her. But no, Harvey goes after the police. Yeah, he goes after Commissioner Gordon and Batman. Just blames them. Can you imagine that? Like in the days back of the Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer, he's killed my entire family. I hate him, he's destroyed me. Right, let's get the police, they're going to pay for this. Bizarre approach by Harvey Dent. Like, why is he going after Commissioner Gordon? He don't deserve that.
No.
I mean, sure, he flips the coin and Joker obviously wins out for his life, but when has Two-Face ever not manipulated the coin toss? So you're telling me the coin toss failed for the Joker, but for everyone else in Gotham, but the Joker, it landed on death? I think he chose not to kill him. Makes no sense. It's madness. I mean, I know he is mad, but this is madder than mad. The relationship between Batman and the Joker is another element of this film that is pretty much flawless. This was the first time we saw the actual Batman and Joker dynamic from the comics come straight to the screen. The idea of Batman and Joker being polar opposites yet similar and perhaps scarily enough needing each other. There's some fantastic dialogue that tells this story. The Joker plays around with Batman, but on some level he really means it, and this frustrates Batman, who never wants to believe that perhaps the Joker is his Achilles heel. The Batman and Joker relationship is almost adorably morbid, isn't it? It really is fascinating to watch. Before filming the interrogation scene, Heath Ledger actually told Christian Bale to hit him as hard as he could, as if Batman was really hitting the Joker. It seems the two actors did their very best, sometimes at their physical cost, to translate this twisted relationship as accurately as possible to the screen. The Dark Knight introduces one of the famous ideas from the comics, which is the Joker wanting to bring Batman down to his level, wishing to break his spirit and convert him to the dark side. When the Joker begs Batman to hit him on the motorcycle, it's not because he necessarily wants to die, it's the fact that to him, turning Batman to his side would feel better to him than staying alive. It's a very bizarre relationship, but one that has endured for years on the pages of DC. It seems no matter what, Joker sees himself as a winner in this rivalry. Even if he never gets Batman to kill him or kill someone else, which he would relish, he finds the process just as much fun. This is probably why the Joker is the villain who can torment Batman the most. While the other rogues in Gotham's ultimate goal is to put Batman in his grave, Joker sees as much enjoyment in keeping him around as he would if he killed him. He's happy either way. The final confrontation between Batman, Harvey and Commissioner Gordon is incredible too. I mean, sure, it makes no sense why Harvey has chosen to do this, but hey, he's insane, and this is a very intense scene and every emotion feels real, and that's quite an achievement considering there's no real reason for Harvey to hate either of them. Despite that, the tension of this scene is impeccable. It's so well done. There's also some fantastic dialogue that once again echoes the theme of this film, good versus evil, and whether good still has the chance to thrive in a dark world. It's another superb scene that utilises exactly what movies should be about. You're on the edge of your seat, you care, you're emotional and you're entertained all in one. It's also one of the many scenes in the film that feels contained and claustrophobic. While The Dark Knight is a film with epic scale, there are several wonderful moments like this where Nolan strips away all the spectacle and makes the scene all about human interactions and allows that to draw you in by itself. Of course, the film ends with one of the greatest hooks for a sequel I've ever seen. Batman is a vigilante. How cool is that? Commissioner Gordon makes this epic speech too, which really pumps you up for the next film. And then Rises came out and you find Batman just went home. Like that night when a new era was beginning, that speech by Gordon, the police setting the dogs on him, Batman convinced it was the right thing to do to be a vigilante, the message of sacrifice, being greater than a hero, being something more, and Batman just went. So what do you want to do after this epic ending in Dark Knight Rises? I've got an idea. Yeah, what is it? What's it? Come on. Yeah, don't keep us in suspense. Yeah, I've got it. Here it is. Yeah, what it is. Obviously, yeah, Batman becomes a vigilante. Batman, he made a supreme sacrifice, and now he's going to be on the run from the cops, and this and that. Yeah, get to it. What are we going to do? Well, I've got an idea for Batman. Go on. Fuck him off. Now, I can't finish this review without talking about the three fantastic supporting performances. First off, Maggie Gyllenhaal as Rachel. Now, although I do like Katie Holmes in Batman Begins, I think Gyllenhaal brings some life to Rachel, what that wasn't there before. She manages to hang with all her charismatic male stars and provides a strong female performance. I feel like Gyllenhaal has major chemistry with both Christian Bale and Aaron Eckhart, which is great because there's indeed a mini love triangle between the three, and you genuinely believe Rachel's feelings for both men. She's in love with them both but has to choose, and you sympathise with her because Rachel only wants the best for both of them. It's not like she's using them or playing them off against each other. Michael Caine as Alfred goes without saying, it's Michael fucking Caine. You don't need to say any more. Alfred has one of his best speeches in the entire series in this film, in which he tells Bruce that the Joker perhaps doesn't desire anything, he just wants to watch the world burn around him. It's a superb speech and Caine delivers it in his classic style, and I love how the things Alfred says to Bruce aren't just throwaway comments, his speeches end up creating some major themes in the movie. Finally, we have Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon. Not only does Oldman have the look of Gordon down to a T, the personality is very accurate too. Unlike Commissioner Gordon's of the past, Oldman's Gordon doesn't just wait around for Batman to save the city. Just like the comics, Oldman's Gordon is full of passion and empathy, and a strong desire to change Gotham. He's out there in the thick and thin just as much as Batman, if not more at times. Gary Oldman's Commissioner Gordon gets the character right. It's not that he needs Batman because he can't do it himself, he needs him because the Caped Crusader's presence is the one constant that motivates him to carry on giving 100%. Dark Knight really is a classic in modern filmmaking. It's one of those films that gets better and better as time goes on. You look back here and you actually think, wow, if only more filmmakers could reach this level. Again, Christopher Nolan's just that kid who you can never be better than. He just got everything. You can't beat him, just accept it. Just tag along behind him. Just, you know, point and laugh when he picks on people. You know, just stand there. Just stand there next to him. That's all you can do, filmmakers. So there you have it, The Dark Knight. What more can I say? It's fantastic. It's worthy of obsession, wouldn't you agree? Whereas the next movie, well, what can you say? I find myself obsessing less over the quality of the film and more over trying to find out what the fuck is going on. But yeah, I'm going to be looking at Dark Knight Rises next time, so be sure to stay tuned for that. So thanks for watching everyone, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I have many more videos like this planned in the future. I'm Jim and I'm obsessed with movies, and it's my job to make you obsessed with them too. Stay tuned and I'll see you next time.